Hello and welcome to Eeks Office Plus. I really appreciate Jackie and Bill. I appreciate you folks coming down today. I know we don't have a lot of time. I appreciate the time you've given me. And I think let's just dive right in. I'd like to start out by just reviewing some of your objectives that we talked about during the walkthrough. You want to reduce your number of vendors. You want maybe look at something for your conference room because it doesn't allow productive meetings. When your attorneys and various staff members are on the road, you'd like them to have access to documents remotely and quickly. Lawyers visiting the office have trouble getting on the network and printing. And you also, it's important to you that the equipment is easy to use because you have a lot of different users. And I know you're not familiar with Sharp. And my goal today, my hope today, is that by showing you some of our uniqueness, some of the different things that we can do, that you'll see the value not only in our company, but in the equipment that we have to offer you to make your life easier and people more productive. So I'm just going to kind of dive right in, starting out by showing you a few things today. And one of the things that we're going to show you is this beautiful Sharp Aquas board. And you obviously may know already that Sharp makes some pretty awesome television sets. And this is a television on steroids, if you will. It is not only a television, but it's basically a whiteboard as well. So you've seen meeting rooms, probably even your own meeting room. You might have a whiteboard. You might have a LCD projector. You might have a television on the wall. And you're kind of using three devices. Well, the beauty of this is that it can actually be all three devices. So right here, I have a whiteboard, and I can change the color of the pen just by clicking on it. So I got a whiteboard, and you'll notice up here at the top, I just changed the color again to blue. So I got red, white, and blue. Up here, you can kind of notice I've got a webcam. I don't know how well you can see that. But now I'm going to switch over to the other screen and show you, this is actually, what you're looking at over here is the Sharp Copier screen. So this is sort of small, and I know, Bill, she's kind of sitting farther in the back, but this allows you folks to see what I'm doing on the screen. So you'll notice when I touch the copy button that the screen changes here right with it in real time. So that'll give you a feel for kind of the ease of use of this. And while I'm in this screen, I'll just show you how easy it is to access. I can enter my number of copies here. Here's my two-sided copy button if I want to do any two-sided copying. Very easy, and my customers tell me that it's very intuitive. It's a 10.1-inch touchscreen display that, in my opinion, reminds me a lot of a tablet. And I say that because it's completely customizable. I mean, in this case, you'll notice I have 4 buttons showing right now. These are buttons that I feel, for starting out, we're going to use, because I know you talked about you want to be able to take a little jump drive. You want to be able to plug into the copier, and you want to be able to scan right to this. Well, I have a button set up for you right here on the control panel that says Scan to External Memory. I just touch that. I can go ahead and click in this box here and give the document a file name. I'm just going to call this test and just say OK. Oh, yes, that is a pull-out keyboard. And I can then just take my document, put it in the document feeder. And the nice thing about this touch screen is it's got this beautiful button that says Preview. And what that's going to allow me to do, I'm going to go ahead and click it. And I don't know if you can see these documents as they come across in real time. But basically what it's going to allow you to do is preview the images before you send them to an email address or before you copy them and give them to a customer or both. And you'll notice that I can just kind of touch the screen here and scroll through my pages. And in case you can't read this, there happens to be a profanity-laden document on page 3 there. And I want to take that word out before I send that off to the customer. Or maybe it's a social security number or any other sensitive information. So I'd like to redact that before I send it. So you'll notice here it says check out the Sharp's Cool Damn 10.1-inch display. So let's go ahead and let's remove the word damn out of that document because I really don't think that's appropriate. I'm probably pushing the limit a little bit here because I know you attorneys never use profanity. So I apologize. But I'm going to put a little dot here. I'm going to say that's my starting point. I'm going to put a dot there. I'm going to say that's my ending point. and I am going to execute that. And I'm able to now redact up to 4 other ranges on that document. But, for demonstration purposes, that's probably good enough for me. And now you'll notice when I scroll back through these pages again, that word that we really didn't want in there is now gone and deleted. So all I have to do now is hit start. And you'll notice that when I bring out my completed copies, I've got all of those documents without the word I didn't want or the social security number I didn't want. So also in doing that, you'll notice that when I go back to my home screen, oh, and by the way, I just scanned that onto the jump drive is what I did there, and I made a copy of it, so that's what that was. You'll notice that when I go into my address book, in talking with Jackie, one of the things that was really important to her was that you get in these interrogatories or documents that are already typed up from other law firms, and you want to be able to take that material and you want to be able to get it into your system in a Word format. And one of the things that we have the ability to do with our product is we have a really great product. It's called Sharp Desk. And this is what it looks like. It's a lot like a Windows. It has a Windows-style ribbon bar. All of my documents are located over there on the left. And I can just scan a document like these interrogatories with one touch of a button. I'm going to go ahead and click interrogatories and go ahead and say scan. And now that's going to pull that document in and send it right to my desktop, whether I'm Bill, Sally, Jeff, Jane, or whoever that may be. And it's going to do a little image processing and give me both a PDF image of the document, so I can go ahead and save that into the customer folder as the original that I received from the other law firm. And now you'll notice that I have a thumbnail right here that is a Word document. So I'm going to go ahead and open that in Word. And now I can do whatever. Let me grab my keyboard and my mouse over here. But now I can go ahead and type on there. I can change the document. I can do really whatever I need to do on there. If I want to change a word over here, delete it, I can come over here, delete that paragraph out, add to it, do whatever. And then, of course, I can go ahead and I can save it right up there just by clicking the Save button. And now that has been altered and changed to fit what we needed it to do. We can go ahead and then bring it back over to the copier and scan it over to the law firm or email it over to the other law firm for them to review. So the reason I bring that up is when we're in the address book here, there may be users when they log in and their screen may look different. For example, when I log in, I see 4 buttons and I have access to color. But when Bill logs in, all he needs to do is make black and white copies. He doesn't need color. And so you'll notice here when I go to the next screen, he sees different buttons than what I see. So I can customize the screen to be however I want. The other thing that I like is, let's say that I'm in the address book, and since we do interrogatories really daily, according to Jackie, I think she said you guys do it 10, 15 times a day where you're, needing to process interrogatories. So instead of having to hit 2 buttons, I can just, with a couple keystrokes, I can just go ahead and register that button right on the very front control panel, so that when she comes up to her, when she logs in as her user, what she sees then is her buttons on her screen. So in other words, she'll have a button in here that says interrogatories. Let me just get logged in here. Having a little bit of difficulty. Bear with me. I got to have a password, obviously, to process this command. So that's what I'm doing right now. And then when I go back out to the home screen, you'll notice I have a button right here that says interrogatories. So it really is like a tablet in the sense of it gives you the ability to do editing, previewing. You can view your scans or your copies before you send them off as an email or a copy. You can do a lot of different things with personalization right at the control panel. You'll notice we can also scan to USB directly right here, and I made a one-touch button right here on the control panel for that. The other thing that I might have failed to mention was that, all of these machines nowadays, perhaps you saw that report on television about, the warehouse full of copiers. They go in, they pull the hard drives on these devices, and they contain a lot of people's personal information on there. Well, Sharp has always been the leader in document security. I believe it was back in 2001 or so that Sharp was one of the first companies. They were the first company really to make data security an issue in the copier industry. and they've always been a leader in that field. And so the way we equip our devices when they show up at your office is that with every copy, with every print, scan, or fax, whatever's done on that machine afterwards, immediately afterwards, those jobs are erased off of the hard drive, and then the hard drive is overwritten 7 times with encryption to make sure that none of that information is accessible to anyone anywhere in the world. So all of your documents and your data is completely secure. The other thing that I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about was, mobile access, because one of the things that Jackie had brought up is a lot of visiting attorneys come into your office and, they want to be able to print and they really can't. So they try to find innovative ways of complaining about it. And you really don't want to give them access to your network. So I'm just going to use my mobile phone here as an example. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to log on. I'm going to go into my wireless settings. And I'm going to find the Sharp Copier because it is wireless. And I'm going to go ahead and click on it right on my phone. I click on Sharp Copier and I click Connect. I enter in my password that you folks establish and probably change on a regular basis so that people out in the street, don't need to be printing things to your copier. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here and I'm going to find a picture in my gallery. And I'm going to print that to the copier using the wireless setting. And I'm not logged on to any network. I'm just connected to the copier. I happen to know what the password was. So I'm going to find a picture in here, and I'm going to click a few buttons. You've got to click a few things to be able to get it to work. It's not just like boom and print. This isn't the Jetsons quite yet. But I click my mobile printing app, which happens to be called Sharp Desk Mobile. Works excellent for me. And I connect to my copier, and away we go. And I say print. Now that's going to print directly from my mobile phone. So we have the ability to print from any mobile laptop, any mobile phone, any tablet, without that user having access to your network. It's just called a mobile access point. And Sharp does a great job of including that, as a standard feature on our product. So one thing I forgot to ask you as we go through this, Jackie, if we're able to show you all of the value and a bit of a savings and some new offerings and make your life easier, do you feel like EECS would be a good company for you to partner with in this project? Great. Excellent. I was hoping you'd say that. So one other thing that you brought up, Jackie, and looking at these notes that I made myself here, was that you talked about you want your attorneys, when they're out in the field or wherever they may be, to have access to documents. So what we have available, and it comes free initially, you get a free user license for a period of time when you get the Sharp product, and those details are in the proposal. But it's called the Cloud Portal. It's called Cloud Portal Office. And essentially what it is it's a cloud that you can store documents in to allow you to really take your documents anywhere that you go. And all it is it's a button right here on the control panel. And I'm going to just slide over here to the side so that you can see better here. And I want to just show you how you access. I am going to come out here. And let me get out of my stuff here a little bit so we can get in here. And I want to go out and I want to access the Cloud Portal. And it's simply a website, and therefore it's 100% secure. All you need is a username and password. Now, what it's going to do is it's going to show me the documents that I have the authority to see and share with other users in our organization. So you'll notice here that right now I've got at the top of the screen over here, I've got my documents, I've got other documents. So one of the things that I had my secretary upload was the proposal. So here it is, it's a Word document. I'm just going to go ahead and take just a moment to download. It's a 5 meg file, so it's now at about 3 meg. It's got a few seconds left here to go, and then it should open up for us here. Looks like we have a little download issue, so I'm going to go ahead and click it again. having a little bit of internet issues here today, but shouldn't be long here. We'll be able to open that up. And I'm going to go ahead and cancel that and try it again. One more time here. Second time's a charm. But while that's doing that, here's what's nice about it, is that our copier with its .NET platform has the ability to communicate with almost any third-party software. In this case, it happens to be the Sharp Portal Cloud. And so let's say this is a document, and I'm an attorney out in the field, and I realized that I had forgot to bring an important piece of material. And so what I do is I call up Sandy, and Sandy puts that document in the copier, or she's at her computer, and she just clicks. In this case, I can just log right onto the cloud portal here from the copier display. Here, let me show you here. I'll bring the screen up so you can see it a little better here on the display. But I just click on Cloud Portal, then I click Sign In. And of course, when I click Sign In, it's going to ask me for my username and password again. So I'm going to need to step in front of you for just a second here and go ahead and enter my username and password. Kind of doing this sideways a little bit here. And this is my username, so I say enter. Then I come down here and enter my password. So what I'm trying to show you is that I can access the cloud via the copier so that I can scan documents in. I sometimes think out loud. S-H-A. Slow here. I apologize. Bear with me. And then I just go ahead and sign in. And I don't know how well you can see that back there. Should be able to see it great with that high definition Sharp device. But now I'm in, so I click the Cloud Portal Office, and this could be customized button to say however you want it to say. And now I'm going to be able to see two buttons, one of which is Scan. So I'm going to go ahead and click Scan. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to name this document, and I'm going to just call it, I'm just going to call it Laser, just so we can designate it when we see it out in the cloud, that you know I just scanned this out there. So I type Laser. That's going to be my file name that I'm going to choose. And from there, I say, okay, excuse me, and I just say go. So now the document is going to be pulled in the document feeder. Oh, I apologize. It's asking me where I want to save it. So I'm going to go ahead and save it in My Docs. My apologies. It's going to go ahead and pull up my document folder tree. I can go ahead at this point and I can create a new folder. In this case, I'm just going to save it under just kind of the standard tree. And you can see all the different documents. Here's the other folders. It shows one with Granite Island. It shows one with proposals. So I can drill down to the folder that I want to put it in. And then in this case, I'm just going to say start. We've got our file name, which is Laser. The copier is pulling it in. It's giving me the communication that scanning is in progress. It's communicating with the cloud. And it says scan was successfully sent to the cloud. So that's wonderful. Now I can say okay. And you know what I realized? I also told my secretary that I want to print a document from the cloud. So I can say print. I can access the folder that I want to print from. It's communicating with the cloud right now to pull down the different folder trees. And I'm going to go ahead and go into My Docs. I could go into other docs that I share with other staff and team members, and it's going to find those. I'm going to go ahead and pull up this. You'll notice Laser PDF is now there. I'm going to go ahead and pull up that Laser PDF document, and I'm going to say print it. And now it's going to just process for a moment as it downloads the document, and it's going to begin to print it. Now let's go back to our computer side of it, and let's take a look at the cloud from the computer. Notice if I do a little quick refresh of this page, that through the miracle of Sharp Electronics, this document is now readily available in the cloud and on my mobile phone. It's called Laser PDF. Download. Hopefully it'll just open automatically. If not, I'll do it. But there it is. It is the It is the page that I just downloaded right there. And all I did was access that remotely through the cloud. So that product is also free. So we have sharpness, we have the portal, we have the beautiful 10.1 inch screen. So now just to go back to the copy mode, I could just leave this now and eventually it would log itself out. But I'm going to go ahead and say home. It takes me right back to the home screen, and I can go ahead and log out as my user so that the next person that comes up has to authenticate with their own credentials to make sure that they did it. We have account codes. We have sub-account codes we can create so that when you're logged in, I do this with a nonprofit a lot where they have grants that they write, and so they might have 50 different grants that they have to charge things back to, and so that every print job that they do and every copy job that they do, or in their case, they don't track scanning, but you definitely could, and so that they have to enter a code and then they enter a subcode so that the billing is simple and easy for them just to go back and route those bills accordingly to the appropriate grant and make sure everything is accounted for. I just want to make sure, I'm just kind of checking my notes here. I just want to make sure that we're covering everything. I wanted to just briefly touch on the print driver here. So if you direct your attention here to the screen, when I go to print this document, it's as simple, obviously, like any printer, it's as simple as saying file print. That driver's very intuitive. When you want to change anything related to the printer, it's very easy to do. You can tell it maybe that you want to staple, you want to print something two-sided, you want to print something maybe with a staple in it. You want to form documents combined onto one sheet. But this is your printer driver right here. You'll notice there's your two-sided copy. I can change the settings here if I want to pull out a different tray. Just by putting the mouse right over the tray I want to pull from. I even have enlargement reduction. So if you want to take a letter down really little, very intuitive here, of course, is where we can embed the user number so that we know who's printing what. We also can tell it to default to black or white only. A lot of little things that we can embed in the driver to save you folks money. Just touching on a few things to kind of recap what we talked about today. What I put together here in the form of a proposal for you to review is a lot of the things that we already discussed, and that is right here. This proposal, you all have it in your hand. Maybe if I can get this a little closer, maybe you can see that a little bit better. But these are the objectives that we already talked about at the beginning of the meeting. We found some challenges in the fact that you've got several different devices right now. If you look at this analysis that we did, we went through we basically did an inventory of all of your existing products that you have now, your two Xerox copiers, how much you're paying per month on average to keep those serviced and up and running, how many pages are going through them, the average age of your fleet. You definitely have a lot of old antiquated technology in your organization that is pretty costly to run. As I look down the list, I mean, you'll see this printer, which is used a fair amount, is about 6.5 cents. You've got some printers at 7 cents, and most of them are in the neighborhood of about 6 cents. So we came up with a basic average monthly cost of ownership of around $1,100 a month, as you can see right over here. And the thing that's kind of that's interesting about this number, if you look at it over here, this number right here is the fact that that's what you're spending every month. And do you even have anything close to this? Do you have documents that you can access mobile? Do you have a screen where you can do some editing right at the point of scan? Do you have good image quality? I mean, the Sharp Copier has 1,200 dots per inch image quality. The quality is excellent. Here, take a look at this. I printed off some samples for you there. There's a nice sample for you to look at. But you're spending around $1,100 a month right now. So that's a fair amount to be spending. So what I did is I have a few more diagrams here. I noticed that your copier is 36% of your volume, but it's only 20% of your cost. Your printers are 64% of your volume, and they're 81% of your cost. So it's sort of interesting when you start looking at printing is very expensive. So our goal, and what we did for you here, is we essentially, let me clear those editing marks out of there a little bit here. We summarized your existing fleet, okay, and what we want to replace it with here on the right. So you have your existing, and you have what we're going to replace. And we didn't just pull everything. As a matter of fact, we kept 3 printers that you currently are using right now, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to include those in the proposal. So you'll see here, here's the bottom line, and we can talk about this a little more because I know we're kind of getting tight on time here. Really, the bottom line of what you're looking for really from us is how much is this going to cost us? Well, I explained that you're spending around $1,100 a month. That's this side, okay? Well, what we can do is we can do it for this much. So we can save you on average around, $400 a year. So in my opinion, how I would phrase this is essentially a revenue neutral proposal. You have basically 2 printer models instead of 7. You have all new equipment with the copiers, the 2 copy machines, because we are keeping 3 of your existing printers. So those are the only things that aren't new. You get mobile access. You get a much more user-friendly design with the ability to track all of the usage that goes through the equipment, and really spending no more money than you're currently spending today. Now, would you agree that makes sense? Great. Would you allow us then to go ahead and set up a delivery time? Well, excellent. I think we can meet those criteria. And again, I really appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming down, and look forward to working with you. Thank you.